Welcome, everybody. This is Ray of RebelEars.com with my business partner, YL, today.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, so today we're actually talking about the session that YL had with an artist, I think 2 hours ago.
Yeah, about 2 hours ago.
So go through the artist, what y'all was trying to do through the process of the, what is it, 4-hour session? Yeah, it was 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah. No, 5 hours, actually.
It was...
Because he added an extra hour.
Oh, yeah, he added one. Yeah. So, artist goes by the name of Angelo Adams. His social media tags are PunchoZ3, PUNCHOZ3. And so we've been working on this mixtape for about maybe 2 months. Recording, really just recording, you know. He's one of those artists that comes in, he just grabs a beat, and he just goes off the top of the dome. And a lot of the process of recording him is he'll just flow throughout, punch in a lot, and then we'll, you know, create the song. We'll find what we want to be the hook and start arranging the lyrics and, you know, arranging the beats and different things like that. So today we have finalized the tape as far as recording wise. So today what we did was we just went through all of the songs. We narrowed them down just like, you know, any artist on the label would do. Any artist that's, I recommend that you do that. You know, record as many as possible and you pick the best, whatever number that you come up with, 10, 12, 15 or whatever. So that's what we did today. We narrowed down songs. We also wanted to grasp a direction for the tape. We already talked about a direction for the tape and what the tape was, you know, based around. But, you know, when you're building a mixtape, the order of the songs and the flow of the mixtape and the whole vibe of the mixtape is important. So after we, you know, singled out the songs that we had going on, we were able to number them and to basically build the type of, you know, direction that we wanted the tape to go in. So when the listeners listen, it's almost kind of like storytelling coming from the beginning of what the tape is talking about towards the end of what the tape is talking about. And so we're there now. The next process is mixing. I think we're 17 songs on the mixtape. We picked 17 out of like 22, something like that. And so the next step, we'll go in and we'll get in the studio and we'll start mixing a lot of those songs. And after we mix, we'll go into making sure that they're all sonically sound. They all sound very, very, very similar as possible. Even as far as not just as the flow and the lyrics, but as far as the sound-wise on my end, to where the whole tape flows. You really don't hear a difference. It doesn't sound like he recorded at a different studio or he had a different mixing engineer. And then after that, we'll jump into the mastering process of the tape.
Yeah. One thing I do like about the session, because, you know, different from recording and mixing, when you're having a listening session, going through the tracks itself, sometimes the artist, the engineer, even if the producer's in the session at the moment, it's a good way to interact, saying, you know, after recording, listen to the track for a while, probably a week or two or a month or two, depending. When you get to the listening session, you know, you go through all the process of, you know what, there's this one part I want to fix up, or the ad-libs or the effects. You always want to take care of it before it goes to the mastering engineer, because I've seen so many times a lot of artists feel like, okay, you know, after we record this, they get it sent to the mastering engineer masters it, and then the artist like, okay, I want to make this change, not realizing you got to pay that mastering engineer again, because even though, you know, you didn't like a part that was during the mix, I don't think they do revisions when it comes to mastering. Well, I guess probably 2 or 3. If you're a mixing
engineer, I would say get you a relationship with a master engineer.
Yep.
Because, and the reason I say that, like, for artists that go directly to master engineers, the game is very oversaturated with all different kinds of recording, mixing, mastering engineers, producers, artists, managers. Just the whole industry is a very oversaturated. So it's possible that an artist won't hear something that needs to be fixed in the master. If you're a mixing engineer, build you a relationship with the mastering engineer so it's easier, because you know your mix. Right. So this is what I do is I try to guide the artists that I work with through me when it comes to mastering, because I know my mix.
Yeah.
And I know that my client is very happy with my mix. And the mastering is supposed to enhance the mix. It's not supposed to change the mix. It's not supposed to alter the mix. It's only supposed to enhance it. So being an artist, you might not hear where it didn't enhance the mix where it was supposed to. So you might not know to say, hey, I want you to go back and take a little bit of this out, redo this. Too much compression, too much multi-band, too much harmonics in there, different things like that. If you're an engineer, you know that. So yeah, I'm not really sure if you just hit up a master engineer if you're gonna get revisions, but if you do have a relationship with one, then it'll be easier for you to get those revisions, and also it'll be easier for you to communicate with what you want. So if you're an artist, try to go through your mixing engineer, and if you're a mixing engineer, build your relationship with your master engineer.
Yeah. Speaking of mastering engineers, shout out to Glenn Sheck. His recent album I listened to that he mastered was Young Dolph and Key Glock's Dumb and Dumber 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Going
Honestly,
hard.
the sonic quality of that project is dope. It's a lot of bass 808s. Dolph and Key Glock be going in a lot. I like their music, but I like the quality of the mix and the mastering too. So things in that nature, you want to go through people who can bring your, like YL was talking about, take your mix to the next level. A few things you can do: invest in your own equipment, invest your time learning from engineers, producers, because a lot of producers are engineers. A lot of people don't understand, like, to be a producer, you need to be engineers. Some engineers are producers, but mostly as a producer, you want to be able to get the balance of your mix yourself. So that's one thing you want to go ahead and focus on. Another thing, like a producer, they probably get the balance of their 808 and kick. A good video by my good friend Henry with the 3. Shout out to Henry. He actually had a video talking about 808s with the kick, how to blend the kick with the 808. A tip I got from there was, lowering the attack of the 808, so when the kick hits, the 808 slowly just creeps up on the release of it. That's one way to have your kick and 808 balance out. Another thing you want to go ahead and do as an artist, the artist that YL had today, we was having a conversation. He was talking about how he literally record and mix his own project at the studio at Hot Beats. Shout out to Hot Beats. In the A room. Yeah, in the A room, he was recording everything himself. So he would actually press record in the control room, walk into in the vocal booth, and the vocal booth was separate from the control room. So he had to open the door from the control room to close it. Then there was an open gap, and then to the A room vocal booth, he had to open the door and close it. And it's a big plexiglass. It's a full body plexiglass, which was, dope. We're going to have some footage up so you can actually see the process of how we had our session today, which was very dope. But it just shows the process of, as an artist, if you have to do everything yourself, go ahead and invest your time into understanding the equipment. He was talking about how he started out with the Apollo and troubleshooting issues that he had to figure out himself. A lot of people talk about, you got to pay for somebody to do something. I do understand that, but you really want to invest in your equipment and invest your knowledge in using that equipment. That's what I think.
Definitely, I would, and I'm actually going to highlight this. So working with this particular artist has been probably one of the easier artists, not because he's been rapping for a while or we were at a nice studio. It's because he was able to find his sound. So he's been recording himself and mixing himself for quite some time in multiple studios. And what that allowed him to do, first of all, recording is an art. So as an artist, I really suggest artists to have their own home studio. Learn how to at least push record on Pro Tools. Learn how to at least level out your sounds, level out your vocals. Get with an engineer. I've done it a few times where I go to the artist's house after they set up or help them set up and then build a template for them to record through. So it'll sound decent enough for them. And what that does is, like I said before, recording is an art. So all you're doing is practicing. They say it takes 10,000 hours to master something, and being able to record yourself and to understand what reverb is, and even if you use too much of it, a lot of artists that try to mix their own tracks, it's not the best, but the recordings are usually pretty decent. So when you get a recording from an artist who records themselves, they're usually pretty decent recordings. I get a lot of artists that record themselves at home and they send it to me just to mix. And first of all, you're saving money that way because recording and mixing is two different jobs, two different tasks. Secondly, you are learning how to record. You have the patience. You don't have to worry about trying to rush. Studios are expensive. Engineers are expensive, especially good ones that you want to build with. And I look at it as if you're going to spend $30, $40 to go to somebody's house to record, and they're not even a real engineer, then you might as well record yourself for free if you invest in the gear. Yeah. And lastly, you're able to find your sound. The problem that I see with a lot of artists that come in the studio with me that has been rapping for a while and they're ready to take their career to the next level. They come to me and they're like, hey, I'm used to this, but I want to come to you because I know you're going to get it right and do this and do that. The struggle that they have is they love the new sound that I create, but they still have a problem in discovering their sound. So it's not as good as it can be. And the thing about this artist that we just worked with today is he's been able to really practice and hone in on his own sound, on his own craft, on the way he does things, his own process by himself. So when he explains it to me and I see it, I'm a professional engineer, so I'm able to take what he gives me and take it to the next level. And that is why he's probably been one of the most easiest artists for me to work with, is because he really has his own sound already. He understands the plugins. He understands the sound. So when he hears it, he's like, hey, that's it right there. Don't do nothing else to that right there. That's exactly what I was looking for. He knows what he wants, He
already knows his sound. Exactly. So just to bring you up to date on a way to help you to start your sound, go to the website at rebelears.com. Download both of our ebooks. Mine to be a successful audio engineer, his to attract reoccurring clients. You can download the mix template for free for Pro Tools, so you can go ahead, open it up, and start mixing on the way. And then we also have a free stock preset pack, so you can go ahead and use the actual plugin that's already in Pro Tools just to get you up to speed on what you need to do to take your mix to the next level. It's a start point, so you can be like, okay, this plugin is dope. Some of the presets, you can try it out, put some together, put some with the EQ, delay, compressor, reverb. Try to find your sound just like the artist did, because you're not going to get your sound like the first go. That's right. Why anytime you have a session, like I already know y'all already started the process after, before y'all even started during the recording process, right, you was finding his sound. Sometimes you had to, while he was recording, while you was tracking, you had to mess with the EQ a little, like lower the muddiness, raise some clarity, depending on his vocals, and from there you created his sound with a template that you open every time y'all have a session. Correct?
Right. So I would say probably about like maybe the third or fourth song, he was able to tell me, whatever you're doing right now, that's how I want to sound. Like, that's the sound I'm looking for. So, boom, automatically, I know, create a template. So that's the template I bring up every time we record it. And this is what's going to make mixing this mixtape so easy, is because out of the 17 songs, at least 12 of them are very sonically the same, because I've literally reused the same template, same plugins. I just have to go through and just tweak the plugins. And it's a lot easier mixing that way than going into and trying to, because I've done it before where you don't have a template. You find a good sound, so you find yourself trying to pull in a track that they like the most, and you're trying to make this mix sound like this track. Like you have your own reference track that the artist like that you did, and you're trying to match that into a new session, but you don't have the same plugins in that session. You're using new plugins. You're just trying to use your ear when you're overworking yourself.
Yep.
If you use the same plugins, the same template, the same type of sound, now it's easy for you to go in and tweak. It's easier to take things away. It's easier to add things to create. You're still going to have that reference, but it'll be easier to match that reference as you have a starting point for that specific artist.
And this is for all artists. Like if you don't have an engineer that you always go to, if you have a session with an engineer and you like the sound they gave you, tell the engineer to save you a template of the session itself. Yep. And put it on a flash drive or anything you could take with you. So the next time you go record with another engineer, all you got to do is say, okay, my template is on this flash drive, or you can email it to the engineer. So by the time you get there, they already have the plugin. Well, they already have the session open up. A thing that you need to realize that every studio don't have the same plugins. Of course, all Pro Tools have the same stop plugins, but when it comes to like Waves or Universal Audio, Fab Filter, Isotope, they might not have it. So be cautious of the plugins you're using, especially for your template, for your vocal chain. You want your vocal chain to be so simple that no matter what studio you go to, they will have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're actually giving the artists a lot of game on this. And now that we're actually doing that on this episode, I want to also highlight, if you need any kind of material on learning how to build your studio, how to build your vocal chain, we have previous podcast episodes where we go into detail about what you need to be looking for and what you need to be researching and how you need to build a vocal chain. We have blogs on the website as well that talk about vocal chains. They talk about microphones. They talk about outboard gear. We talk about templates and presets. We talk about so many different things to where for free you can really get the information in one spot. It's a one-stop shop where you can get the information on how to build your own studio as an artist and understand how to move when it comes to sending your work to an engineer and, being able to use these tools that we provide you guys to take your career to the next level. So that's one thing that I want to highlight. Please use the resources that we have on the website.
Yeah, I'm looking at the last podcast we did, the process of performing. So, okay, good example with the artist that YL had today. The first time they linked up was for the performance, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and during that process, YL and the artist were going through so many tracks, recording, mixing, going through songs here and there, and we were going through the process of what to do after you record and mix when you're getting ready to perform on stage. So that's a good way for artists trying to figure out, okay, I got the recording, I got a good mix, what's next? And then we also discuss show versions, like having a show CD, because anytime you perform at a live event, you want to have a show version. A show version, what we explain real quick, you take out your leads, keep the hook, keep your ad-libs, and that's mainly your show version, because when the verse comes on, you want to do it to give a live performance. Right. But when it comes to the hook itself, you want to keep that energy that people can chime in and do it with you. So that's, that was the last episode of the podcast. But like YL was saying, we was having a lot of episodes talking about vocal chains, different plugins, things to help you as an artist and as an engineer too, because we have so many experiences. I'm going through the list of podcasts. We was talking about the SSL 4000G Plus, one of my favorite boards out there. Right now I got an Avid Artist Mix. I love it. I don't use it as much as I should. I know YL been using it a whole lot more than I have.
Dope control surface.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's good to invest in different equipment that you research on. Like we research on a Mac laptop, of course, to use Pro Tools on. We did research on the Apollo, the interface. We did research on different microphones. I got a Neumann TLM 103. I believe. Yeah, it's a very dope microphone. you know, you want to invest your money in something that you can, you know, make as an asset. And all the recording equipment, all the videos, the audio, the lighting, the banner behind us, this is all basic assets to not just from the podcast or the website with the blog or the YouTube. We got material, content, merchandise. We got a lot that's going for us. But the thing was, we did a lot of research. We didn't just go in blindly. Every time before I buy something, I read the reviews. I see if other engineers are using it, other artists or producers. I watch the videos on YouTube of different reviews. Like with me, an Apollo Twin, hands down one of my favorite interface.
Definitely. And probably like, it's not really cheap, but for the price, it's probably going to be the best interface you're going to get for that price. That's going to be able to give you a high level quality and high level processing for all of your projects.
Oh, yeah. But of course, you know, Apollos have so many different interfaces and outboard gears. They got some that have eight channels. That's for like if you're recording a band or you have like a group project. But with me, with the Apollo Twin, have 2 channels. Like right now, that's how we're recording this episode of the podcast and this episode of the YouTube channel.
Yep.
We're using Apollo Twin with solo, right?
Duo.
Oh, Duo? Yeah, Apollo Twin Duo. And, you know, it's just convenient for the fact you don't really have to have like one channel to record both of them, because at the start of it, when we really didn't know what we was doing. We only had like one mic, and we started investing in another mic just so we could have a mic for me and a mic for YL.
Exactly.
So invest in different mics. You don't have to get the best high quality mic. Do the reviews, because this mic right here, it's not my Neumann. This is like a newer microphone. So I think it was like $20-$30. But the thing is, we got a good enough vocal chain that it sounds professional.
Yep.
And then like that, doing research on, you know, your vocal chain, it makes everything so convenient. So do your research on things that you want to invest in, and what you do invest in, you know, read the manuals. Every piece of gear I have, I read the manual. If it didn't have a booklet, I looked online for the manuals, watched videos on it. Right now, I got to read about this video switcher we recently got so we can have, you know, more engagement, not just with YL and I, but separately. So
right.
When I'm talking, it'll be focused on me. When YL's talking, it'll be focused on him. So it's a lot of investments, but we already know it's an asset.
Exactly. And
if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
you know, just being an artist, engineer, you know, we got, you know, we speak on this a lot, you guys. I think that's probably like the biggest step. Like, the thing about having goals and maybe trying to build something from the ground up, the first thing is your idea, right? So you think about it. And then you say, okay, well, this is what I want to do. The second thing you do upon that, you try to learn about it, right? Whether you find somebody to teach you, whether you go to school, you get a mentor, you research, you know, you take courses online, whatever it is. Or you just go get a starter position in that field just to get your feet wet, right? So you go from the idea to let me learn this. After you learn what you need to learn, the most important thing you can do, and this is on the entrepreneur level, and this is just on a becoming your own boss level, you buy the equipment that it takes you to do that job, right? If you went to school for heating and air conditioning and you know how to change heating and air conditioning, this is what you do, this is your thing, then you need to make sure every tool that it takes to change out and fix every heater, every brand of air conditioning, you need all of those tools, because why? Eventually, you won't have to work for that company anymore, Right? Same thing with studio equipment, and same thing with buying your own cameras and setting up your own stuff and buying your own things. Like, you don't need to pay an engineer and the studio, because make no mistake, when you go to record and you go to a studio, you're paying for the room and the engineer. If you can cancel out the room because you've gotten so good at recording yourself, I can record myself here. I don't need a recording engineer to be here. I can just record myself. I've did my research. I went on rebelears.com. I've listened to the podcast. I've read the blogs about how to build my vocal chain and, how to do my research, because it's a way to do research when you're dealing with audio gear. I've read about the plugins. I've read about how to create my presets, and I got a relationship with my engineer. He's going to do a template for me and woo-de-woo-de-woo. Once you get all that, now you cut out $100 an hour of recording. Now you can spend more money on mixing and mastering and promo and different things like that. So remember that once you learn, you wanted to be an artist, you wanted to be an engineer, you wanted to be a producer, then you learn how to do it. The next step for you is to make sure that you invest in the equipment that you need to be efficient in your career, because now you can do it for yourself. Not only are you saving money, you can also use that to make money as well. And I mean, it's a win-win. We were just having a conversation, and I've had this conversation multiple times. You won't be able to learn as much as you want to learn until you buy the gear. You can get taught as much as you get taught. You can research as much as you research. You can know every video of that camera, in and out of that camera, in and out of that microphone. But if you have not bought it and you don't have a way to actually try it and get familiar with it in person, then you're not learning as much as you would know if you had it. So buy the gear first. After you learn what you learn your technique, then you buy the gear. You can always learn the gear when you know the technique.
Yeah, that is true. And even with that, I've learned that a lot of people actually advance on the process of learning with engagement. Not just, okay, good example. You can, like YL was talking about, you can watch a video, you can listen to somebody talk about it, but if you're not hands-on with the process, it's going to be a little harder for you to pick up on it, because when we in a session, of course, we use different outboard gears. We use the control surface. We put the mic at different angles because we have experience being hands-on. It's not something we just watch a video and seeing, okay, how does this work? Or we just watch it and that's it. No. After we watch a video, we implement it. When you implement it, it helps on being more efficient in the studio. Just like key commands. It took a minute to learn key commands, but now I can be in a session, don't even have to look at the keyboard itself, because it's like a muscle memory with my hands. I can record, I can pause, I can cut, I can edit real quick without even having to look, because a lot of people get familiar with using the mouse, going to, okay, I got to click the waveform, click the, what is it, like the toolbar, go to cut, then you got to go back to the toolbar to make it a pointer. And it's confusing to me, because I like the quick pace of it. I think Steve Hibicki, he does more clicking than key commands, but hey, he's a multi-platinum engineer. So hey, what he's doing, keep doing it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about, because during the session today, we had time to like vibe out, listen, come up with some ideas for the project coming out. Even talking about the difference when it comes to, if you working with a producer, dealing with executive production, well, having a producer being your executive producer, or even having your engineer as an executive producer, that's basically saying that they put either the funds or the time behind the project.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be funds, because a lot of people don't have money, but they do have time to invest in the project. A few artists in the past I invested my time in, that gave me some points on the project. I get money back from the royalties. So that's things to think about too. There's a lot of producers who are executive producers, like J. Cole with Young Thug's album that came out, So Much Fun, was executive produced by J. Cole. Drake, 40, they executive produced all of Drake's album.
50 Cent did Pop Smoke.
Dr. Dre, Eminem did 50 Cent. It's just a lot that goes in executive production. Being an executive producer. Even Metro Boomin with Future, Monster project, yeah, that was Metro Boomin. He executive produced that because he invested. I know he invested money, but also his time with the production.
And another way to get your executive producer rights. First of all, if you have your own equipment, we're gonna go with just shoot back to that real quick. If you have your own equipment, you don't have to spend that money on that project. You can say, hey, I have my own studio. I'll record you here for free, and I'm gonna be the executive producer. You are the executive producer of that track. Same thing with making the beats. Hey, I got my own studio. I'm making your beats for you. I'm helping you sit down, and we're going through these beats together. Woo, woo, woo. You might pay me for them, but I still gave you all this time. Or I might just let you do it for free. I might give you the beats for free and then make me an executive producer. There's a lot of ways to become an executive producer, like Ray was just touching on. It's not just beat making. Or, I paid for all the studio sessions. I paid for all the beats or things of that nature. Is you have your own equipment. You can bring in those artists to your establishment and to your room or to your workstation, and then you can give them the production that they need right there. Y'all don't have to go to the studio. You don't have to spend that much money. You saving money, and you're still the executive producer and getting great points. And if that project goes to the moon, then you'll be getting royalties for the rest of your life as the executive producer.
Yeah.
So I think that's dope. That's a very good topic that a lot of people are not aware of, and that's a way of bargaining because everybody is rich and has money in the industry on social media. But the fact of the matter is the bargain industry is huge. You give me a feature, I give you one. You give me a beat, then I'll shout you out, or I'll give you points. I'll give you executive producer on this. Different things of that nature, and that takes you a long way. So you can get your executive producer rights just from bargaining.
Oh yeah, I'm all about the barter system. It's so convenient. Just interacting with somebody, especially if you don't have to come out of pocket. It is time consuming. If you do it yourself, I know some people use the barter system by outsourcing. There's so many different ways with that. I know a lot of people who use the barter system through different sites like Fiverr, Guru, Upwork. There's so many ways to, attract what you need without having to worry about funds, if you know what you're doing, because of course, the quality got to be good. You can't just, barter with somebody with low quality. Like another artist we bartered with YL with the mixing, with me with the visuals from recorded with my equipment. We get a specific studio we go to. We get free hours. It works out. It depends on what you have to offer on the table. Everybody got something they can offer. It just actually, sitting down and think about exactly what they can use. All right. So one thing I figured out that we should executive produce in the near future, our project.
Yes, definitely.
Because this is spur of the moment. This was something that YL and I have been talking about for a while. Didn't bring it up on the podcast episode yet because we really wanted to take the time in on seeing what we want to do. So basically, it's going to be a Rebel Ears mixtape. We got a lot of different artists and producers we're going to be working with. Still debating if I want to rap on it. You going to rap on it?
Probably not.
Why not?
Nah, man. It's I've kind of given up the writing, man. Even though anybody who remember me when I used to rap, they'll tell you like Lee had bars, but I don't know. I'm just not into it. Like I'd rather engineer, man, and executive produce, and I've helped write before. I've been in the studio where I've helped with bars and helped with hooks and helped with finding instrumentals and finding beats and different things like that, helping putting projects together. And one thing I want to stay on that side of the bar. Y'all probably won't hear any bars from me on there, but I'll probably get on there and talk like DJ Khaled or something. I'll probably get on there and like be a DJ Holiday type of deal. I get on there and just talk a little bit.
Oh, like DJ Drama?
Yeah, something
Shoot,
like
we can
that.
do like Daddy, Hey, Rebel Ears for life, man.
You feel me?
Hey, can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, I might hear ad-lib or something from me.
You know what? It's going to be fun. I'm actually going to put a song or two on there, man.
Yeah, you should. You should.
You gonna collab on one with me?
I might.
You might?
I mean, I can definitely still write a nice 16, definitely.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be dope. You know, YL and I are going to be going in on our project, man. But it just shows how free we are on what we're passionate about. We love what we do. And now it's to the point, like, if we want to come out with a project, what's stopping us? We can record, we can mix, we can master, we can put it out on social media, we can engage, interact, do everything we need to do.
Right.
And, you know, we're connected with a few people when it comes to, you know, coming out with your song on different platforms too. It's not just, you know, of course, BMI ASCAP as an artist, as a songwriter or a producer. You want to be on one of those publishing rights organizations just so you can get your royalties. You know, there's TuneCore, DistroKid, CD Baby, just so you can get your product streamed through different
Platforms.
different platforms. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Pandora, you know, all those, Tidal. There's so many that's out there that you really need to focus on. Even SoundCloud too. SoundCloud getting artists paid now.
Yes, SoundCloud is still a thing for those people who think that, you know, they're too good for SoundCloud. You can still get you a plaque and you can still have millions and millions of stream off SoundCloud. I would take SoundCloud and use that to kind of direct your fan base to where you want them to go. If you want them on your Instagram, if you want them on your Tidal streams, your iTunes streams, you know, different things like that. Because it's so many people on SoundCloud, and believe it or not, it's easier to get those plays. And it's easier to build a fan base through the SoundCloud community, because the thing about SoundCloud that's still different from Tidal and Spotify and all these different platforms is SoundCloud is a community. You are able to comment, you're able to add people and follow people and really link with people. You're not really doing that on iTunes, Spotify, Tidal. You know, you can maybe get on somebody's playlist or something like that, but SoundCloud is almost like a social media directly for music. So I would suggest using SoundCloud because, like I said before, you can use it as a way to direct your fan base where you want them to go.
And then one thing I do like about SoundCloud with the engagement, well, not the engagement, how you interact, someone can listen to a part in a song and they could leave a comment as soon as it plays. I know it's sad to say, okay, good example. The day that DMX passed away, there was over, on one track, there was over 2,000 rest in peace on his, well, what was his song? I'm trying to think of what song it was. X gonna give it to you. And it was just a lot. It happened the same day, but it just shows, you know, I remember Sway Lee was talking about, Sway Lee from Ray Shribby, he was talking in the interview saying, or it was just, no, it was actually a tweet. He actually said when Juice WRLD passed, it's sad that the best publicity is when you die.
Yeah, and that's a fact.
Yeah, because as soon as you pass away, people want to get that feeling when they first heard that artist, and then the next thing you know, that artist who passed away, their project goes platinum. Yep. They're number one or top 10. It's a lot that goes on with you know, the music industry, especially in the entertainment industry. It's just, you know, as long as you got that drive, you focus, you're consistent with your material, it's gonna come out. It's just, you know, it's a matter of time. It's a process, and it depends on you if you're gonna stay focused on it. And the last bit that we're gonna talk about is, well, I know what we could talk about: the website.
Indeed.
Artists, engineers, and I'll just say producers once. Go to the website right now. Download YL and I's ebook. We got an ebook for each of us, all right? Mine is to be a successful audio engineer. If you want to learn the 10 tips to be successful, you know, to move forward as an engineer, that's, in my opinion, very necessary. I heard from multiple engineers who use that book. And then with YL, how to attract reoccurring clients. The best way to make money is to have reoccurring clients. If they keep coming back, you're a successful audio engineer. So shoot, you might not need my book, but you still gonna need my book. So go ahead and download it. And then even after you download our ebooks for free, You can download our stock preset pack for free. Different plugins on Pro Tools that you can use to get you going. And don't forget to download our mix template for free. So that's 4 things you can get right now for free to take your session to the next level, so you can go ahead and come out the gate. The reason we promote the website so much, and the ebooks and the templates and the presets so much, because a lot of people are still trying to find out how to start off. This is the best way to get insights on, two individuals who have plus 10 years of experience together with, hundreds of songs recorded, mixed. Even going outside of that, we build over 100 stages. Well, if YL and I put ours together, we build over 200 stages. So that just shows how, experienced we are in this field. So go ahead, go to the website, download everything. And don't forget to buy the Slime preset pack and the 420 preset pack if you want to take your mix to the next level with, seasoned and certified presets.
Indeed. One more time, make sure you go to the website. We can't reiterate this enough. This is where you guys will find most of our, I would say, most credited and, the best work that we put out for you guys, so you can actually see that we are experienced and we do know what we're talking about. Just like Ray was talking about, the ebooks for free will show you and will teach you that, okay, these guys know something. We are not in the beginner stage. This is not a clout type of thing for us. This is something for us that we've always wanted to do, and we just waited until we got enough experience and we've got enough confidence in our own selves and our own game in the industry to where now we can actually spread the knowledge. If you go to the website, this is where you'll find those tools, the free ebooks, the blogs, the podcast link will be on there if you're having a hard time finding the podcast. RebelEars.com is your one-stop shop for the information that you need, along with the free preset packs that we have on there, the free template that we have on there. Lycanthrope is a free producer pack that we have on there. Like, all of these things for free that you can download and you can use to research, you can use to learn, you can use them to take your career to the next level. And then we actually give you hands-on tools that you can use inside of your Pro Tools to actually help you and make you more efficient in what you have going on. We teach key commands. We talk about key commands in the podcast. Most of the blogs we have a podcast episode where we talk about it. So not only are you reading it, we actually talk about it and talk about our experiences with that same subject. So, like I said before, we can't reiterate it enough. RebelEars.com, RebelEars.com. You guys go download the free stuff, and after you've done download all of the free things we have to offer, you'll see your career move to the next level, and then you'll be ready to spend some money with us, and you guys can come and you can purchase the different preset packs that we have available, and we do have more on the way. We have a few done already, just not released yet. So we have plenty more resources for you guys to use to help you guys become more efficient in what you're doing.
You know what's funny? I actually forgot about Lycanthrope. So that's actually 5 things you can download on the website right now for free. For free. And these aren't just something that we put up. These are, things we actually spent months on in, getting the best quality from past mixes. Even the ebook, that took like some months to just create. It was years in the making, from experience working at different studios,
right,
interning, even with me being an assistant engineer and YL being a recording engineer in multiple studios. It just shows the process of what we get for free is very insightful. So go ahead, go to the website and enjoy. And this is Ray at RebelEars.com with YL.
Yes, sir.
And we just want to say thank you for listening to this episode, and keep tuning in.
This has been another episode of the Rebel Ears podcast.